Welcome to today's special tarot reading. It's going to be for the special little planetary move that we have going on this June 9th when Jupiter will be entering Cancer. This planet is going to be in the zodiac sign of Cancer for about a year. So it'll be here from June 9th, 2025 until June 30th, 2026. So pretty much a year, just a smidge over. But it's always exciting when Jupiter goes into a new zodiac sign. It's been in Gemini, of course, for the past about a year, and now it'll be transitioning to Cancer. So I thought it would be fun to do a special reading. I know I did one for Saturn going into Aries, and I really enjoyed that. So let's go ahead and try this out for Jupiter as well. I'll put these little cards down to the side, just as a little reminder for what this reading's focus is. And so what I'm looking for is to just pull any themes related to Jupiter, related to Cancer, related to things we might want to consider as we progress through this year that Jupiter will be in this zodiac sign. I pulled a couple of other cards related to Cancer just to give us a little bit of a foundation. So Cancer is a water sign. And water signs are all about spirituality, emotion, intuition, and compassion. So very much so connected to the emotions. And there we see the three zodiac signs connected to this element, Cancer, of course, being one of them, along with Scorpio and Pisces. Another good thing to note about Cancer is that it's a cardinal sign. So cardinal signs are starters. They initiate a season. In this case, Cancer initiates the summer season. So with cardinal signs, we have here instigation, bravery, and a pioneering spirit. And here again, we have listed the 4 signs that are cardinal signs, and we have Aries, Cancer, Libra, and then finally Capricorn. And last little card I pulled here is house number 4, and that's because Cancer is typically connected to the 4th house. It's a cozy little sign. Cancer is ruled by the moon, and it connects to the home environment. So we have here keywords as cultural and family roots, the home, peace, and comfort. So I think that as we move through this year with Jupiter being in Cancer, themes of home, family, our roots, ancestral roots might be coming up, and it'll be things to just kind of see if those things come up for you, you know? Okay, so let's move these ones out of the way. Today I'll be working with the beautiful pastoral tarot deck. It is a little unique in that it's more of a landscape instead of portrait. I believe those are the right words for that. But you know, the artwork is really beautiful. I thought it would be nice to use for Cancer. So let me give the cards a good shuffle, and then we'll go ahead and do a Celtic cross spread. Pastoral Tarot is a beautiful deck. I'd like to do a little walkthrough for it one day soon. Okay, so let's see here. At the center, we have the 6 of Pentacles. Crossing that is the 10 of Wands. Above us is the Hanged Man. Below, the 8 of Cups. Behind, the 6 of Wands. And before, the 9 of Cups. Okay, so then let me move things around a little so I can put the staff cards out. First staff card here, we have the 5 of Cups, the Tower, the Sun, and in the final outcome, the World. All right, let's get into it, guys. So again, just beautiful, lovely artwork here. I really do like this deck a lot. I think it fits the mood of Cancer very well. It's very like, I don't know, homey and cozy. So I really enjoy that. Let's get started here with the heart of the matter. What do we have? We have at the back here, the 6 of Pentacles. This card's a lot about give and take. It's a resources card. So here we have a woman giving bread to someone in her community who seems to be maybe less fortunate. She has a nice little house, a brick house. Makes me think of like the Three Little Pigs, right? With the best house being the brick house. She has plenty. She's a little baker and she's sharing her goods. In the back, we see the little goose. So, yeah, this card's a lot about give and take, sharing what you can. So I think there's something there with like making wise choices, knowing when to give things to people, when to share, and when you need to really kind of take care of yourself. And so I think this is a beautiful card to think of with Jupiter in Cancer. Jupiter, as we recall here from this card, is a lot about growth and expansion. Jupiter is a very generous planet. And so I think that's kind of illustrated here. We can see definitely a connection with that generosity, but being wise with who and what and how much we give. All right, so crossing that is the Ten of Wands. And so the Ten of Wands is a lot about limits. This card is often linked to Saturn in Sagittarius. And so Saturn, of course, is a lot about putting limits on things and kind of knowing our boundaries. So in this card here, we have this man. Some sticks, I think I'm not too sure what's on his back. I think they're sticks, and he has the heavier load. Meanwhile, the donkey back here has like the lesser load, which, right, like that doesn't make sense. So it's thinking about our resources again. How are we allocating the work? Working smarter, not harder, and knowing our limits. I think that connects very well with the Six of Pentacles. So again, these two cards are crossing, and it kind of sits at the heart of the matter. So, you know, we want to give and be generous when we can, but I think there is that connection to making wise choices and knowing our own limits. Not giving more than we can afford to give, and you know, just distributing things in a way that makes sense. All right. In the crowning position, we have the Hanged Man. And here we see this beautiful image of this girl just hanging around on this log, enjoying, like, I imagine a beautiful summer, kind of in a little shady area. So, great little card here. And the Hanged Man is all about sometimes delays, but also sometimes being in the right place at the right time. So being patient and just kind of enjoying the moment. I think that's the lesson we can pull from this card here. You know, sometimes we want things to happen very quickly. We want to see our results. But with the Hanged Man, it's a lot about taking our time, enjoying where we're at. You know, any delays that might happen are meant to happen, and just, you know, kind of sitting still and just enjoying our surroundings there, just like she's doing. Here we have a little frog, and it looks like a heron to me. There's a little ivy wrapped around her leg. There we have it. And also I love this like idea of ripples. You know, she's touching the water there, which reminds me back to Cancer as being a water element, and then those ripples that come from that. There's this beautiful poem by John Milton. It's Sonnet 19. It's probably one of my favorites by him. And at the end, maybe I'll even actually try to read it for us here at the end of this reading. But the last lines say that they also serve who stand and wait. And so that's a beautiful thought to take away with this Hanged Man image, that just because it feels like we're standing still or hanging around doesn't mean that nothing's happening. She's touching the water there, and those ripples are, you know, we can think of it as ripples of consequences or ripples of effects. Our actions are still having an impact on our environment. Down here in the lower position, which usually represents karma, our foundations, our deep past, the subconscious, all those things there, we have the Eight of Cups. And the Eight of Cups is also actually connected to Saturn. This time it's Saturn in Pisces. And it talks a lot about kind of setting limits to our emotions. So when the well goes dry, it's time to seek new waters. So it's a lot about, things coming to an emotional kind of dead end where there's nothing left there for us. And so we need to seek new lands. We need to go in search of water, wherever it may be, in search of whatever is satiating us. We can think about it sometimes as us having a thirst for something, a need for something, right? We want to have this emotional need satiated, but where we may be at may be dry. We may not be getting that inspiration anymore, or we may be kind of at a dead end of sorts. And so that's kind of what this Eight of Cups is talking about. It's where we're coming from, or it's what's in our deep past or in our subconscious. We're at a point possibly where, things have ran their course, and it's time to seek new waters. It's time to see what else is out there. And I think that's really great, actually, because with Jupiter coming out of Gemini, Gemini is an air sign, and that's a lot about the mind and our thought process, communication, that kind of thing. And so we may be kind of at a point where we're fatigued. We might be kind of done with that, right? Ready to move on and practice some self-care, because Cancer is a lot about taking care of ourselves, taking care of our loved ones. It's about nurturing and abundance, but for the things closest to us. Cancer is associated to the crab, and it's just actually like a cozy, cozy little zodiac sign. And so I think, to my mind, it makes a lot of sense that we're coming out of this year possibly of a lot of chaos, a lot of communication, a lot of chitter chatter, and we're just ready to move on and change gears, do something else, see what else is out there, right? Maybe there's a lot of just fatigue, emotional fatigue, and we want to kind of reinvigorate ourselves and our loved ones and come back home, basically. So I think that makes a lot of sense, actually, for the times that we're living in. I know there is a lot of fatigue and stuff like that. So great little card to have here for where we're coming from and kind of our foundations as we move, as Jupiter moves into Cancer. Here in this position, what is behind us and what we're coming out of is the Six of Wands card. So the Six of Wands is a card of celebration. As we see here, she's just won a trophy, and she's living living it up, right? It's very showy. It's actually like this card is associated to Leo, and so it's expressive. And again, I think that kind of connects to this, where it's possibly coming out of a time where there's a lot of kind of showing off, possibly. People may be touting their wins, which is exactly what this character here is doing. And so we're moving out of that, and now into, in the near future, the Nine of Cups card here, which here we have like a little wishing well, because the Nine of Cups is a lot about wish fulfillment. The nine is like right at the very tippy tip of almost getting what you want, but it's coming. So it's very close. You're just kind of practicing that patience there and waiting for your wishes to be fulfilled. So it's biding your time and being very self-satisfied. So I think that's great. It might be that either you or someone around you has been winning a lot of accolades or getting a lot of recognition, but your time is coming too. And so, there are changes that are going to be happening. And so, whatever's close to your heart might be very close at hand, or might be within reach this year as Jupiter transitions through Cancer. And so, okay, let's check out the staff positions here. In the first area, which this represents our attitudes towards the current environment, Here we have the Five of Cups. I think that connects very well to the Eight of Cups, and I think it might connect well to the Six of Wands as well. I say that because if someone else has been winning and you haven't so much, you might be emotionally fatigued and ready to see what else is out there, but you might be in this kind of emotional state of like, oh, kind of bummed and a little sad, right? Like, oh, a little distraught. But what I really like about this card is to me, it's like obviously saying, don't cry over spilt milk. She's collected the milk and she's sad about it, but it's like, okay, you have more jugs back here and you need to take care of that because the cat's getting into that. And so if you don't mind what you have already, you're going to lose that too. Not only that, let's say it all gets spilt and lost. You have the cow right there. So like, don't fret. Everything's going to be fine. It might take a little work again to, milk the cow again, but you have the milk source, right? The cow is right there. So I love that this card shows us that, well, sometimes when we're upset and in the moment, things feel so daunting and distressing, but really we have the solution right before us. And so that's really encouraging. There might be some feelings of that at the moment where it's like, man, I'm just ready, for something good to happen in my life. And I think this card reminds us that just relax, look around you. You have what you need to get through it. Mind what you have, right? And so, again, I think it connects to the Eight of Cups because it's where we're coming from. It kind of shows our attitude, possibly. And it kind of aligns with this in the sense that, like, we're ready to kind of see, something more positive. The wells ran dry, the milk has been spilt. We want to see better things coming. Here in our environment, or in the second position card, we have the Tower. And so again, this card usually aligns to our environment, our close environment, and also those things that kind of have an immediate influence on us. It's usually considered the card of your house, so like your immediate environment. The Tower is intense. It is usually connected to Mars, so action, fiery action. And with the Tower here, usually we think of like divine intervention, which is destructive, but ultimately for our good. It's very distressing. Here we see the farmer, and he's like, oh, dang, everything is burning up, and it's dangerous, right? Like his whole farmhouse is going to burn down. There's like all this hay everywhere, and like, hello, that's going to catch on fire. The poor chickens are all out of sorts and trying to, save their lives. And so it can be very chaotic. Things might feel chaotic at the moment, or might in the like near future. But the Tower, things to remember with that is that the Tower happens for us, not to us, is a great line. And so what that means is, all things work for our good in the end, even those that may not seem so great in the moment. So kind of similar idea here to the Five of Cups. And if we feel this Tower energy around us, it might be why we have this Five of Cups attitude. All right. And then moving on from that, we go into the staff card that represents our hopes and dreams and also our fears sometimes. And so there we have the Sun. Beautiful card to have there. It shows, brilliance and energy and life source. So very positive card. I think it aligns very well with the Nine of Cups and actually the Six of Wands as well, where our wishes are just at our fingertips. So they're coming soon. And here with the Sun card, we can kind of revel in that and just enjoy it. Also, the Sun is great to have here with Cancer since, summer is the season that Cancer is all about and is bringing in. So maybe bringing in some abundance, some blessings in our life, some positive stuff for us. So yeah, really great card to have there. And then in the final outcome position, we have the World. So another really great card to have. Again, this reading is for kind of the whole year as Jupiter moves through Cancer. So by the end of this transit, we can be at the World card, which is wonderful because the World card indicates an ending and then a new beginning that's coming soon. So great card, makes a lot of sense in that position. Here we see this girl kind of having a little picnic. Her little cat is there. There's a bird of prey at the top, and the cat's very aware. In the back, what do we have there? Another little pet, I think. So she's just having kind of the time of her life and just possibly celebrating, or just enjoying herself. And so this is wonderful, I think, for the final outcome. It means that, a cycle will be ended and then something new will be ready to begin, which is beautiful for this transit. All right, and so there we have the overview for the cards that we pulled for this. I think some wonderful little ideas here to keep in mind, right? The sense that we want to be wise with our resources. Cancer is all about nourishing and this idea of like the good mother and giving and taking care of people. So we want to do that, but we want to be mindful of how much we do that, not to our detriment. So that's great. If we feel like things are slow to move, Cancer is a very circuitous kind of little creature with the crab there, which the crab never goes directly head on. It's not Aries. Cancer is a little crab, and so it goes around in circles and circles around until it finally gets what it wants. And so there we kind of can see that here with those little ripples happening, in the Hanged Man. We may feel like things aren't moving, but things are happening in the background, or things are happening, kind of quietly and subtly. And so that's good to keep in mind. We have the Nine of Cups here, which is the wish fulfillment is coming. Our dreams are going to be handed to us. We will be getting with the things that we want. We just have to be mindful of not giving into negative attitudes and, not giving into what's happening in our environment. Things may feel chaotic, but just, hang still, practice meditation and getting centered, and just don't give into those negative vibes. Sometimes we feed off of our environment, so don't give into that negativity. And then just enjoy being in the sun, enjoy any spotlight activity you might get. And then in the end, we have here this beautiful World card with just a wonderful wrapping up of a transit, a little celebratory picnic there with our pets and our loved ones, and just, being mindful of how we want to move into the next cycle when Jupiter moves into Leo. And so there we have it. It's a beautiful little reading. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me see. I'm going to try to read that poem for you guys. All right. And so here's Sonnet 19 by John Milton. He was this wonderful English poet. And this sonnet was written around 1673. So let me go ahead and read it for us here, and you can meditate on what we talked about during this reading and just enjoy seeing the cards here as I read this poem to you. All right, Sonnet 19. When I consider how my light is spent. And as kind of a word of context, John Milton was a poet who went blind. And so towards the end of his life, he's with this poem, I think he's kind of meditating like, what do you do when the thing that you've done your whole life is kind of impossible to do? And he actually had a scribe that he worked with, and that's how he was able to continue his work. But that's kind of a little bit of context for the poem. When I consider how my light is spent, ere half my days in this dark world and wide, and that one talent which is death to hide, lodged with me useless, though my soul more bent to serve therewith my Maker, and present my true account, lest he returning chide. Doth God exact day labor, light denied? I fondly ask. But patience, to prevent that murmur, soon replies, God doth not need either man's work or his own gifts. Who best bear his mild yoke, they serve him best. His state is kingly. Thousands at his bidding speed, and post o'er land and ocean without rest. They also serve, who only stand and wait. beautiful words there to meditate on as we move into this new transit for the next year or so, with Jupiter going into Cancer. And just considering that no matter what, we're having an impact on our environment. We matter. Our life matters. And so I hope that you guys enjoy this transit and that you get to practice some self care, some self love, and also enjoy your communities, your families, your loved ones. And yeah, so I'll go ahead and end here with that. I hope to see you all again soon. Thank you for being here. Bye.